Hey guys, Christian over at NFIG Car Stereo. Today we're in a 2011 BMW 3 Series, and we're going to show you how to replace the factory radio with an aftermarket radio. Alright guys, so the first step of installing a new radio is removing the old radio. So to remove this radio, the first step is going to be to remove the climate control. It's pretty easy. This is a panel tool set, NFIG PPT 12345. They're better than the ones you find almost anywhere because you see they're reinforced on the back, so they're a little bit stronger when you go to pry. They don't flex as much, and also the material is a little more scratch resistant than the other stuff I've seen out there. So for this job we're going to use these two. So this one gives you a little bit of prying action. It's meant to do this, and this one this one's meant for a scraper, but since it has the thinnest edge, I use it for a lot of other stuff. So we're going to go in here, all right, and pop that out. So now that we got a little out, you can go in here, all right, and you kind of go in there and just like that. Now it's important that you go in high enough. I'll show you why in a second. And now this side you can just slide to the left. You don't need to pop it because it just slides out. Okay, now the reason you want to go in as high as possible, because if you look here, this is flimsy plastic. Okay, so you want to at least get up here, and then, but I recommend getting high up here, because you see you want to try to get here. So if I'm going to hold this where it's at, see, it covers this switch, so that's where you want to be. Now to remove, let's remove these two. You push in here, there's a little button in there, you push, and after you push it you can slide the lever over like so. Okay, and then on the other end, same thing, other end, both kind of in the middle. Now over here, as you'll notice, the climate control and the buttons on the bottom are joined by this ribbon cable. Well, we'll cover that later. Well, if you're watching a radio installation video, we'll cover that later. If it's a removal video, that's the end. Go watch the radio installation video if you want to find out more. All right, now down here we have two. Let me set up the backup camera. We have two Phillips head screws, or stars, or crosses, whatever you want to call them. See them right there? So, all right, now this is a magnetic tip, which means it holds the screw. Be very careful if you do not have a magnetic tip. You don't want to lose the screw. Saturday afternoon, my phones are exploding. We don't answer the phones on Saturdays. We're either filming or working on someone's car. Sometimes I wish I could, but I wouldn't get anything done. All right, next step of the install. Let me turn off the side camera and get it out of the way. Perfect. All right, next part of the install, I'm going to put these things in here. I'm also going to cover the center console. I didn't cover the center console to take out the air conditioning control because, first of all, it's low risk, and second of all, it would have gotten in the way of me prying the bottom. Okay, but now that we've taken the radio out, here's a big, heavy, clunky thing that can damage a shifter, wood grain, all that stuff. So now you can turn on the radio real quick. I guess the radio doesn't turn on. Do that, turn it on real quick, and eject. Alright, so there's nothing there, good. Now we're gonna turn everything off. There you go, that worked. Oh no, we have interior lighting ruining the shot. There you go. Alright, so after that's in, you're gonna pull. For you guys that don't know, this is my, I don't know if it's my first, but from now on we're doing 4K videos, and I have a whole new lighting setup. So we're gonna pull this out. Now, when you get it out over here, make sure to cover this over here, so when you do this, you don't scratch it up. So you're gonna be careful because there's fiber. Alright, so this just pushes down and slides right out. Whoa. Yep, there you go. See? So just this little tiny tab. And then that's, I think this is Sirius XM. I gotta double check. Yeah, it's Sirius XM. And this black one is your AM FM. Okay. Apparently this has been out before because there's a, this was supposed to be attached to the back somewhere. And then the second part is your quad lock connector. How do I figure out how to show this? It's easy to do, but I want to show it to you. There you go. So what we're gonna do over here is we're gonna squeeze the top, and once you squeeze the top, it releases outwards. See? And that comes out like so, and that's a release. Here's the back of the radio. Sirius XM, AM FM, and the rest of the connector. All right. Now, so the next part of the install is actually more removal. What we're going to do now is we are going to, we have two 8mm bolts here. Just going to use regular socket. Oh, that one's tight. The other one wasn't as tight. Yeah, there you go. Alright, so we go. Careful with these. I mean, I don't think you're going to reuse them, but you also don't want to drop them into the bottom of the radio cavity. I totally made that up that the other one was loose. Well. Good? Yep, there we go. Alright, so we took those two screws out. Put these in the center console. Now, these are T20 Torx in the corners that we have over here. I only say that because I thought they were T30. And then I was like, oh, they're not T30? Then I went to T25. They're not T25? I'm just surprised. They look much bigger than T20. Put these off to the side over here. All right, now this whole piece just should come right out. And voila! Now we have room for activities. Just this moment I decided that this is going to be a separate video because I don't like it. I don't like the way it came out. So we're going to redo this video 100%. So it's not going to be part of the main video. But damn, that looks good. Damn, the whole time I didn't have that? That looks really, really good. Okay. So that's it. I'm calling it a night. I got 3 minutes left on the memory card. Transfer everything over and wrap it up in the morning. So, video is brought to you by infitcarstereo.com. Oh, you know what? If we're going to make this a single relocation video, let's bring out all the relocation kits. Alright, so this is the Metro one. I don't like the plastic on this. It works fine. It's probably the cheapest one. So, you can do that one. And then we have the a silver one, which I guess is probably like an M package or something that has silver trim. And then there's also piano black. So I've had these sitting around the shop probably about 7, 8 years now, and I'm finally doing this video. Unfit car stereo for you. Alright guys, so now I'm going to show you how to run this yellow cable from the radio cavity into the fuse box that's back here. Okay. Now, your fuse box, when you open this up over here, there are two knobs that you have to turn. Alright, and once you turn those, this comes out. See these knobs? Alright, so you got to turn them. They are this way. You got to turn them up and down, and then pull down, and see there's a little lip here, and that comes down. Okay. Now, whoops. See? Once you do that, you will see the fuse box back there. I'll take a picture of it, take a shot of it. I'm not sure how I'm going to handle this yet, but I'll get it into the video. Now, this is a PPT 1, 2. All right, so you can use a 1 or a 2. Now, I'm going to go all the way down here. Let's go down the lowest. Always start at the bottom. The reason you start at the bottom is because that's the one furthest from the eye. So if you do happen to mix something up or leave a mark, you won't see it. All right, now, when you pull these out, I don't remember. Oh, you got to pull this out too. So you're just going to pull on the rubber, and then it comes out. All right, nice and easy. And it's actually tucked behind it. Oh, actually no. I've done this before. This video is filmed in like 3 days. They're like 3 weeks apart because we're waiting for a part. I'll get to that in a second. All right, so now that we have this out, there's this, okay? Now, this goes right above the glove box all the way to the end, to the radio cavity. So, I am going to, oh shit. So the microphone wasn't plugged in. So this is the difference between good microphone and built-in microphone. I'm not going to restart that only because I have a wake to go to in the morning, and I'm trying to get this car done before a snowstorm so I can deliver it today. Now, when you go above here, you will see, let's see if I can shine a little bit better in there. See that's the plastic right there? That's the top of the fuse box. Now, I'm not a fan of this flashlight. I don't want to. I bought this yesterday. I'm going to return it. Doesn't do the job for me. It might do the job for you, but for the price of it, I don't think it's worth it. I'm only saying that because if you guys see it on here, I don't want you to buy it because of me. Because I bought it because somebody else. Anyway, go along the top of the fuse glove box. You can put your eye there and see. I've already done that. And it'll be a straight shot clear across. And you'll end up in the radio cavity. See it? Alright, look, I'm going to pull it. I just feel like a magician cutting a person in half when I do it. So let's do it again. I'm doing it twice to show you how easy it is. Because sometimes people say, well, of course it was that easy. You shot that like 8 times. No, sir. I did not. So now, it's right here. I'm going to pull it. Boom. See that? I'm pulling. Okay. So, next thing you're going to do is grab some tape. Which I should have right here. All right. And what you're going to do is you're going to tie the end. Cloth tape. Magical cloth tape. All right. So we're going to tie the end of this into here. All right. And we're just going to put a little tape around it. Not too much. This isn't that bad of a run. So just cover the end of it. What I mean by not that bad of a run is that you're not going to go back and forth pulling and pulling. So it doesn't have to be super, super good. It's an easy run. Ta-da! All right, now there's a fuse in there too. All right, so now, once you do that, you're going to come back this way and grab it over the fuse box. This one is not as easy of a shot, but nonetheless it is easy. Once again, I'm going to do it twice. And now I'm going to turn it sideways. Now it's going to turn easy. Now, we're going to go this way. Now, when you go this way, you're going in front of the fuse box that's right here. So just pull on it lightly. Also, the fuse is big. Well, it has a built-in fuse right here. See this? So that may get stuck somewhere. Now this is here. It's very important that you tie this off to the point where you cover the little dot. You don't want to grab in power. Most likely nothing will happen, but why risk it? All right, so now we're here. That's it. That's how you run the cable. Let me figure out. I'll probably use my smaller camera to show you a video of how this comes out and works. Let me set that up real quick. All right, guys. So all right, guys, so here's a fuse box. All right, that's where you want to go. That's the entire fuse box. Now, let me just see if I can zoom in here. There you go. Now, if you look over here, you will see where it's at on the right side under that 40 amp. All right, now, when you look over here, you see this harness? You're going to want to zip tie that wire right to that harness. That way, if for whatever reason it gets yanked on, it doesn't come out of the plug and leave you without music on your long cross-country trip. All right. All right, guys, now that we ran the power cable to the glove box, let me show you the rest of the install behind the radio. All right, so now this is the chime box. This you can buy our harness with or without the chime box. What the chime box does is, like when you leave your key in the car, or I think it does it with low gas, it goes bing, bing, bing. That's built into your radio. This is an external speaker that duplicates that. So this has its own little module over here that reads the chimes from the car and duplicates them into the speaker. Okay, so for this speaker, there's a metal bar right here, okay, behind here. All you're going to do is tuck it this way, facing the driver's side kneecap. Just tuck it, bend it, and go straight down. And it wedges right in, okay? Now, over here, this is the external box, all right? This is what we call the speaker box, I guess. That's a speaker, and this is the chime box. I want to call that the chime box. I like it. So this is the module for the chime box. There we go. So what this does is that this reads your CAN bus wires and also tells it when to go, and it has a little amplifier built in, okay? Now, this is, like I said, you can buy this with or without the chime box. It's a little bit cheaper, obviously, without the chime box. Now, this is the main harness. All right, what this does is that this will, in case I haven't mentioned it yet, all the stuff is available on our website, enfitcarstereo.com. Just want to mention that already. So, when you plug this in here, this converts the factory harness into what we call an ISO connection. Now, if you look at these wires over here, this side on my left hand are all your speaker wires. And now on the right side, this is what they call a quad lock connector. Now on the right side, the twisted pair are your data wires. They're CAN bus. And what it does is that there's two pairs of twisted wire. One goes to the chime box and the other one goes to the other module, which I haven't showed you yet. And then there's also power and ground, which is, these are the ground cables and these are the constant cables. So constant is always hot, always on, and then ground is the ground. It's just like a battery. It's an extension of the battery under your hood, I guess. Now, this harness over here goes into the chime box, all right? That's all it is ground, which is black, power, which is yellow, and then you get the data. So this powers the box, and the data wires tell it when to chime, yeah. So don't worry about this killing your battery. The data wires tell it to turn on. So when this sends data, it does this thing. When the car is off, it doesn't kill your battery. Now, the other side of the harness, undercomplicate this, is the same thing. All right, so this is your ground, which is black, your constant, which is always on, which is yellow. The data wires going in, which the data wires are, what reads everything. All right, I think it's a little, you're good. All right, so what this little box does is that it reads the data wires and does a whole bunch of stuff. First of all, it does on your steering wheel, controls. I'll get to that in a second. It translates the data into analog wires that your radio can communicate with. So here we have green. Green is your parking brake. So whenever your parking brake is up, it'll read ground. Okay. Now, this is purple with a white stripe. The purple with a white stripe actually is your reverse signal. So what that does is that sends positive 12 volts when you put the car in reverse to tell the radio you're in reverse to pop up the backup camera screen. Now, this by itself cannot power a backup camera. We do have an adapter that for sale that I'll get into in a little bit because we did do a backup camera on this car. Okay. Trunk handle. So what it does is that the little handle you have in the trunk, it replaces it with a smaller one that has a camera in it. Okay. So this right here, purple and white, is your reverse signal. Red is switch 12 volts. So switch 12 volts, when you turn on the car, it turns on the radio. Okay. Also, like the factory radio did where you can turn it on without all the lights turning on, so you can listen to your radio without completely draining the battery. It does the same thing. If you don't use one of these CAN adapters, usually they'll hook it up that the radio only works when you fully turn on the car. Usually, I don't, obviously you don't want that, because if you want to sit in your car listening to the radio, you don't want to kill the battery. And then orange is illumination wire. When you turn on your headlights, it sends 12 volts into the radio, and then the radio knows, hey, your headlights are on, let's dim the radio so you don't have a big glowing screen at night. Okay. And then pink is vehicle speed sense. Vehicle speed sense tells the radio how fast you're going. Most radios do not have this. Off the top of my head, I think only some Kenwood and Pioneer radios right now have that. So that comes in handy because let's say you're driving under a tunnel. Let's say you go into a tunnel, all right? Now your CarPlay, your Google Maps or Waze, well, I don't know how that would work. So vehicle speed sense, usually what it does is that if you lose signal, whether it be GPS or cellular, it will keep you on the current road. So since the radio knows how fast you're going, it'll keep you on the road. But like if you make a right, it doesn't know you made a right, but at least it'll keep it going. So we live right outside of New York City. What used to happen all the time back in the day before this existed was you would get into the tunnel and you'd be driving, and then all of a sudden it would stop. So your GPS would say you're in the Lincoln Tunnel, and then when you get out the other side, all of a sudden it would scramble. But at that point, it's too late because you already missed your exit. So that comes in handy. All right. So those signals on the right side are all done with the CAN bus box and read through CAN and spit out the analog. Now, this is the steering wheel controller. This is sold separately, okay, this little cable. The reason this is sold separately is because it's radio specific. So these loops in here, I don't know if you can see them. When you plug this into the box, it tells the box, hey, box, we're doing a Pioneer radio. And the box goes, all right, gotcha. And it programs the box. That's it. No lights, no beeping signals, none of that stuff. So what you do over here, you unplug this and plug it back in. I did that wrong. So you unplug this side. Sorry. And now when you unplug this side, these loops right here, when you power in this box, will tell the box what radio we're doing. Each radio has a different one. Each radio brand, pretty much. And if you are doing one of those Android radios that I can't stand, but they are cheap, so they're getting more and more popular. We also have a universal one that you can use for those that has a headphone jack and key 1, key 2, and ground. Okay. Now, make sure I'm not forgetting nothing. Oh, and if you have a Kenwood, it's not a plug; it's a wire. Now, this right here is the wires we spoke about. Now, the one wire I haven't spoken about yet, this is your amplifier turn-on wire. What this does is that this goes through here, sends 12 volts to turn on your amplifier or your AM/FM antenna. This is an amplifier turn-on, which means that it's always on when the radio is on. An antenna turn-on wire is different. If this had an antenna turn-on wire, it would be in there. Okay, right next to the red. So the antenna turn-on only comes on when you turn on AM/FM. Now, some radios have both. Most radios only have an amplifier turn-on. Most radios don't have both antenna and amplifier. So this is what's called an ISO connector. All of our harnesses terminate in an ISO connector. Now, when you do an ISO connection, certain radios have it. For example, this JVC radio I happen to have next to me has an ISO connection. So if you buy this JVC radio, it will, well, it's not all the way in, but I'm at a weird angle. So it will plug right in, all right? obviously these loose wires over here. Oh, this is interesting. This has analog remotes and steering wheel controls. Some cars don't have complicated steering wheel controls. So what they do actually is that you can just wire direct to the car. This car, that's not the case with this car. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about this radio because I've heard there are issues with this radio, software issues. I have it in stock because I bought it out of curiosity. So if you do not have a radio with an ISO connection, like in this car we're doing a Pioneer. I forget which Pioneer model we're doing because it's in the trunk. It's been in the trunk for like a week. Long story short, this car came in. The relocation kit that's in here, it has an ashtray on it. There is a new one that does not have an ashtray, but we don't have it in yet. Oh, wow. Let me get into that real quick. This relocation kit down here, all right? So what happens is that by the climate control, there is your seat heaters and that button that looks like a car going out of control downhill. That doesn't go back in the kit. That goes down here, and that pocket gets replaced. The current one that I have here, I don't know if you can see it, it has an ashtray door. I don't want to move the camera down. I'm going to do a whole different video on this shoot because I kept the car because I ordered one from one of my big suppliers in Europe, and it's on back order, so I'm putting the car back together and I'm giving it to him without it. I'm going to give it to him with this one, but, you know, I'm going to swap it out later, so I'll do that video at that time. I went off on a tangent. I got lost. All right, so ISO connections. Now, the ISO connection, we're doing a Pioneer in this car. That's where I got lost because I didn't know which Pioneer we were doing. So we have converters. This is a PMP Pio 0237, okay? What this does, this will plug into the ISO connection, and it's just standard converter. It converts it from ISO to Pioneer. So this will plug in directly into Pioneer without cutting any wires. Now, this is a amplifier turn-on wire, okay? This will plug into here. Okay. There you go. Parking brake wire. They plug in directly into each other. Mint green to mint green. Okay. Reverse camera. Reverse wire. Purple with a white stripe, the purple and white stripe. So this will tell the radio you're in reverse. When you're in reverse, it'll switch to reverse screen. Now we got two wires left. We got pink and we got yellow with a black stripe. If you're doing this for someone you hate, connect these two wires. Because what ends up happening is that this is the mute input on the Pioneer side. So when you ground this, it will mute the radio. This is a vehicle speed sense. This goes positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. It tells the car how fast you're going depending on how quickly the rotations go. If you hook these up, everything will work fine until you start driving. Once you start driving, this wire kicks in and the radio will mute. So whenever I get a call that says, everything works fine, but as soon as I start driving, I get no audio. The audio cuts out. It's weird. I'm like, did you hook up the pink to the yellow blue? Yeah, yellow black? And that's always what happens. So these are taped off so they don't touch anything. I'm going to leave them like that. And this is going to go right into Pioneer Radio. So that's it. That's the wiring. This will plug in. All right. All right, I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to use this, but I'm going to try to make this neat. All right, so this red wire is going to be forever in the way. Be very careful when you join up this cable because obviously it's running through the fuse box. If you zip tied it, you have nothing to worry about, but I'm sure some of you are watching this video at home and say, forgot to zip tie. All right, these two over here, we're just gonna wrap this together. This camera's awfully close. Sorry guys, it's a tight shot. I'm starting to shoot HD. I mean 4K. I've always shot HD with 4K. And the camera that I have crops the shot. What that means is that the way it does 4K, it makes the shot, the window look smaller. The screen size looks smaller? I don't know how to describe it. So that goes there. Let's make these look clean. It's funny because this little tape makes this entire thing look so much better. The backup camera, SRWH BUC, which is the backup camera interface, is making my job of making these wires neater a lot harder. All right, so we got it somewhat neat now. Obviously, you need room for the radio. So, we got the radio rear back. All right, guys, so this is what we call the SRWH BUC. SRWH stands for Smart Radio Wiring Harness - BUC Backup Camera. So, what this does is that, since I told you the reverse wire is not strong enough, you put this between the other two wires, this in between the purple and whites, and then this is the wire to power your backup camera. What it does is that it grabs power off of the main power wire and then uses, this is a relay, micro relay in here. And this micro relay, what it does is that it takes power, it's like a railroad switch. It'll take power from the yellow and it'll use the purple white as a trigger. So what you're going to do, I'll fix this up in 1 second. Actually, I'll show you guys how to fix this up in 1 second. Now, you're going to unplug the power. You can do this before you start, obviously. All right, this just goes right in between. It's so funny because I put this on the website. I was a quick little paper instructions, and everybody asked me how to install it. All right, now disconnect this purple white. All right, now these purple whites, obviously one's a male, one's a female. This harness also has a male and female, so you can't really plug it in wrong. If you plug it in backwards, it won't go in. All right, make sure you plug these all the way in. All right. And then now, that's it. This right here powers your camera. So what happens here is that you join these two wires, okay? And then this goes to camera. So what this does is that this has an extension. This camera cable has a power wire in it. So you ground the camera in the back, connect the power wire to the other one that's here, and then now this sends power through here to the camera. That's it, nice and simple. All right, I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to use this, but I'm going to try to make this neat. All right, so this red wire is going to be forever in the way. Be very careful when you join up this cable because obviously it's running to the fuse box. If you zip tied it, you have nothing to worry about, but I'm sure some of you are watching this video at home and say, forgot to zip tie. All right, these two over here, we're just gonna wrap this together. This camera's awfully close. Sorry guys, it's a tight shot. I'm starting to shoot HD. I mean 4K. I've always shot HD with 4K. And the camera that I have crops the shot. What that means is that the way it does 4K, it makes the shot, the window look smaller. The screen size looks smaller? I don't know how to describe it. Right, so that goes there. Let's make these look clean. It's funny because this little tape makes this entire thing look so much better. the backup camera, SRWH BUC, which is the backup camera interface, is making my job of making these wires neater a lot harder. Alright, so we got it somewhat neat now. Obviously, you need room for the radio. So, we got the radio rear back. Alright, guys, so this is the overhead light. Okay. I don't have time to film a whole microphone installation video, so I figure I'll show you this real quick. Check the website. We'll film it eventually. So right here, you're gonna, that unlocks it. Okay. And then I moved it from here. Slide this over. Slides under here, and then locks in place. Now, this is our custom microphone that goes in the factory location. Okay. So what this does is you're going to slide this in here. All right, make sure that slides under, and then you're gonna push. But what's gonna happen here is that this is gonna slide under here, so it takes a little pushing. There you go. All right, nice and snug. And now you have the microphone right here. All right, and then when you speak, it'll be right on your side. All right, and you just run this microphone to the back of the radio, and you're good to go. Oh, part number is MIC-BM1. Alright guys, so before we finish this install, I wanted to show you the handle cam. So this is the original handle. So this is how you open your trunk. You push this. Oops, you push this. And then that makes a contact back here and sends a signal through that connector. This one's kind of the same thing. You push in. But now, the handle's a little bit shorter, but you got a built-in backup camera. Nicey nice, right? I like it. Alright guys, so I'm going to start off by saying that this is not an easy kit to install at all. It's kind of complicated. It's not user-friendly. I make my videos for consumers, and I try to make them easy, and I try to make them... like, there's certain videos I just won't put out because the job's too hard. This is one of those where it's not hard. It's just frustrating, and it's aggravating, and you're going to hate it. But it's the best looking kit available. So, with that said, with that disclaimer, I should have just put that in fast speed like the Micro Machines guy. With that disclaimer, let's go. So, this dash kit has a mounting kit like this, okay? You can see how I mounted it. You can see that I use these two, all right? And then over here, I use the same two. Now, here's the problem with this kit. These pieces right here, they flex, especially if they're shipped, and then they're in a bag with tons of these. You might need to change these. Okay. Now, the climate control gets relocated to here. All right. So what I recommend is with patience. It took me about an hour to set this up and get everything going. And if you can get a shallow radio, like one that's having big deepness, it'll make your life a lot easier because it gets tight back there, okay? So I'm not trying to scare you out of this. I'm just trying to, someone who's not really too handy, I support you guys getting into cars and tearing them up and doing your stuff. Makes me happy. This is one of them where it might be way in over your head. So, but it's up to you. If the radio is mounted, and I'm going to show you how this is mounted because, see, it's a weird angle. See how it curves? And then, but the screws are straight. It's just, it took me a while to wrap my head around how this mounts. So, what are we going to do here? The chime box goes to the right. All right, I forgot how to do this already. It's not, haven't even been that long. So this harness, I think I'm going to tuck, I'm going to tuck that harness to the right over there. The main quad lock harness, get out of the way. All right, everything here. Now, at the bottom, you're gonna want this, and this to come out. Okay, because these are And it's funny. I know why there's not a lot of radio install videos on this car, because it's a pain. All right, guys, so when we ask you, do you want it with or without the converter, this is what we mean. This is a 3.5 microphone cable, and this is the converter, okay? Only reason we charge you for these is because if we didn't charge you for them, everyone would take it. So, and it's just money. All right, guys, so now I ask you to cover your whole radio center cluster area. All right. This dash kit is obviously made out of metal, so you can easily scratch something. Let me just back up this seat here. There you go. So funny how different car companies, this seat going in reverse sounds the same. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to pull all this out. You're going to pull out the ribbon cable and the two cables that go into the climate control. Get those out of the way. All right, now what we're going to do is, here's the converter I was talking about. This is so the microphone cable comes with a 3.5 and Pioneer uses 2.5. Yes, well, make sure you plug into the wrong thing. Don't plug it into the campus box like I just did. I actually did have that phone call once. Steering controls don't work and no one can hear me. What? There you go. You know, obviously, if you're doing this and you don't do it all the time and you're overwhelmed, it's easy to make a simple mistake like that. I just did it. And I do this for a living. And not only do I do this for a living, but I've been doing it almost 20 years. Actually, oh crap. I think I actually have been doing this 20 years. I got my GTI brand new in September 8th, 2001. And I was already an installer for a while. I may be doing this professionally 20 years at this point. I wonder if I can find an old pay stub. Anyway, 2.5 converter. We're going to tuck all this away now. All right, so don't worry about protecting the Sirius XM antenna. It's not going to go nowhere. You can't bust it. This isn't the bust it challenge. I'm just kidding. I know how to say it. All right, so we're going to tug this into the right. The main quad lock connector, tug that over to the right. Get it out of the way. And this, I'm going to try to push that off to the back. I'm not sure. I'm going to do this live because I don't feel like, not that I don't feel like it. I like showing difficult things. This isn't one of those things where, like those Android radios, you buy them, everything easy peasy, installs, no problem. And then, nope. So AM/FM antenna goes in that. The backup camera goes where it says RCN. That's for reverse camera. And then this Pioneer goes, the main, let's put it over here. The main connector goes into the main connector. All right. Now over here we have the aux, the USB, and over here we have the mic and the wired remote, okay? Let me just try not to mess up this car. All right, so the mic goes in the mic. You can't mess that one up. The steering control programmer. At this point, make sure you've programmed it. That goes where the WR goes, okay? And then in this case, we actually have the auxiliary. And we have the USB. I am not fixing. Actually, I have to. And the USB. Let me just put this on my lap. I was about to say I'm not going to fix this, but my OCD does not allow me to leave that massive wires back there alone. This is coming out. First of all, it's a 6-foot wire. Our harnesses usually have 3-foot wires. This is to mount it in the roof of an RV. I know that made no sense. Yeah, let's put that right there. Hopefully this doesn't get in the way. All right, so that goes there. Now, we're going to shove the main harness to the right. Hopefully that, the factory harness. And we're just going to shove everything back here loosely and see how it fits in before we start, you know, it might just fit right in. Doubt it, but it might. Nope, watch out with that one. Watch out with that one. Nope, you can see we have issues. All right, so I do this on purpose because, so what happens, the big harness that I tucked off to the right is no longer there. It was getting in the way of the radio. I really recommend you do a shallow face radio. It's just moving all this stuff around. If it's not super easy for me, it's gonna be not super easy for you. All right, so right now there's something solid in there, and I need about another 1/2 inch. So slowly, I'm gonna make sure I still have these here. Okay, I am slowly gonna pull this out and see what's in the way. So it looks like what's happening is that the brown connectors are in the way, as well as they're hitting the chime box module. So we're gonna try to finagle it. See, I'll let you guys see this because anybody can pre-plan this and say, look how easy it slides in. And then you're at home crying on the floor in a fetal position because you've been trying to get this in for an hour. I don't know what that hit because, well, I guess it hit the ISO connectors. Let's try to shove those off. All right, you know what? This radio points to the right. What I meant is the radio connections on the right side. So you can actually tuck the ISO connectors to the right, the brown and red connectors, where you just pushed in. And voila, there you go. All right, so now you get to put in the 4 screws that hold the radio. That chime box sounds just like the original almost. I can tell the difference, but I'm pretty sure that if you got in someone's car and heard it, you would probably not even notice it. Oh, what am I doing? These are Torx. I'll be right back. Alright, I thought for some reason I forgot that those were T20 Torx. Sorry, I took my drill gun home. It's in the car. It's quicker to just do this than run out to my car and get it out of my trunk. All right, so now that we're doing this, so the way this kit works is that you see these teeth down here. These teeth down here and down here will hold the climate control. And this right here holds the dash kit. Now, this so far, you're like, why'd he say it was hard? Because we're about to get to the hard part. Now, at this point, you want to turn everything on, make sure it works. For video's sake, I know everything's going to work, right? You guys always know that when you don't test this, when it doesn't work. But if this doesn't work, it doesn't really matter for the video because obviously I'm showing you how to install it. So this climate control was a little higher, remember? It doesn't fit down here. So what you're going to do is we're going to plug all this stuff in. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Oh no. Remember I told you to make sure it's out here? Almost lost a good one. I don't even know what that meant. All right, so just these, make sure, see how the flat bottom? Make sure that that's not there, and make sure they're in the open position before you put them in. Somehow that one went in. And as you can see right here, the orientation of them. So this one goes this way, and this one goes this way. This ribbon cable. I haven't covered this in this video, so go look for the other video. Hopefully I get to do it soon. This ribbon cable goes to the other thing with the climate control. This is not the original one. You had to replace it for an extension. All right. Now, this does not fit in here. This is super ridiculously tight. Okay. So what you got to do, what I always tell people to do, put it in on one side, like that. Okay, you see how this is flush? Oh, you can't even see that. Meat. Let's put it on this side, and then we'll do that side last. So you see how this is flush? This has to be flush on both sides. If it's not flush on both sides, it's not going to work. All right? And you are going to mar up a little bit the dashboard, but if you do what I do, it'll be minimal. So you're going to put it flush on this side. All right? Then you're going to pull on it. I can't do it without looking. Let's do it on this side, because I can't see and I don't want to put my fat head in the camera, way of the camera. I'm going to do it that way, and then I'm going to push this in towards the right, and we're going to sneak in. All right, this has to be flush with these two, or else this is not going to work at all. Okay, but anyway, that has to be pushed in. I forgot what I did, but I'm trying to push it in and it wasn't working. Now, I don't remember if that's all you got to do, because I haven't put this in about 2 weeks. Now, here's the dash kit. Oh, I just remember the hardest part. So this goes in like this, and this goes over the radio, and this goes over the climate control. This little lip right here that you see has to go behind the climate control, okay? So I'm going to pull this back real quick. Now, this kit comes with this little cute little trim piece. Do me a favor, if you bought this from me, leave me a comment how much this sucked. This little trim piece is probably the hardest part. Man, that's not the hardest part. It's the most frustrating. It looks like crap without it. So now that the metal's in, I'm going to get rid of all this. Let's see how this, hopefully. So, you see these? These got to go on the inside of these. And you see how this is warped up? If you don't straighten it out, it's not going to grab it. All right? So, you got to, this is where it gets tricky. And then you also got to hold this plastic piece in. And I'm going to do that. That goes in there. All right, and then this over here. Okay, so put light pressure on the knobs. You don't want to put heavy pressure, because if you do, you're going to break the knobs right off. All right, and then, see what I mean? What's in here? Let's see. Oh, no. No. I lied. You have to tilt this forward. Upward. Once you tilt it upward, only then can you get this behind it. Got it? Now, once you get it behind it, push on the top to get it to tilt down. Once you do that, well, you're going to forget the little trim piece. You're going to put it in, and then you're going to curse, and you're going to take it apart again. Let's see. So that's not locked into the trim piece, which is why it keeps popping off. So the problem is that this kit sucks to install, but it's the best looking one you can buy for the car. So the reason, oh, okay, so the bottom just locked in. Now I have to pull this downward. Okay. So you have to push it. You have to pull this up to get this down. Now you see the top of these? You have to make sure that the dash kit clears that. Once it clears that, you can push it in. I'm going to tell you right now, this is easy on film right now because I've done this. Well, that's not even out. You see how this one is more sunk in? Actually, you know what? Let's try some. If I use this panel tool to get in here, or panel tool back here, I think that's probably the safest. Yeah, there you go. Use a PPT 2. I've sound these for like 20 years. My vision is bad right now. I think it says 2 in there. All right, so you're gonna bring it out here. I don't care what anyone says. This dash kit is worth all the headaches. If you look right here, see this is sticking out just a little more on this side. So the buttons on this side are flush. Give Can we just push this in and make it flush? Oh, there you go. Problem solved. Actually looks better that way. I'm trying to pop this out and it's just that was in. So the metal bracket holds it in. If you look over here, this sticks out and over, well, I'll show you over here, sticks out and over the dashboard. That's to cover the little black pieces, okay? All right, guys, I'm back. For you guys that watch my videos on the regular, you know that I actually like plugging everything in and then turning on the car and showing you that it turns right on. Unfortunately, I'm filming in 4K now, and I'm not used to my memory cards filling up that quickly. So memory card ran out and it said recording had stopped. So here I am. Anyway, that's the radio turned on. So the steering controls, I'm gonna go over that real quick. So you got volume up, you got volume down. You got voice style over here, the little mouth that looks like beams are shooting out of it. Hey Siri, what time is it?
It's 10:40 p.m.
All right, so now we have the recirculation button over here for air. That still works. If you see it down there, it turns on, turns off. Over here we have source. Source is weird because it doesn't really include CarPlay. So when we go back over here, we're gonna hit the source button. You says aux, has radio, Bluetooth, Spotify. That's iPod. Ooh, get rid of that because we don't want to hear the music. No flags. All right. Yeah. What happens is that if I play certain music on YouTube, they'll flag the video and remove it. So just make sure that doesn't happen. That's why you guys are hearing this song that is embedded in my head. All right, and then we have song up and song down. Okay. Now we also have a phone button. The way the phone button works is you tap it to pick up. Oh, sorry, I forgot to dial. Over here, like, what's going on, homie? All right, so the phone button. Tap it to pick it up. Now, if you tap it again, it'll put the call on hold, which is pretty much just like mute, I guess. Tap it again to unhold it. Now, that's an Apple feature. Oops. That's an Apple feature, so Apple could decide to get rid of that at any time. That has nothing to do with the interface or the radio. That's just the way Apple does things. Now, if you hold down the phone button for a couple seconds, it hangs up. Also, if you get a phone call coming in and you don't want to answer it, you can just hold 1, 2 and let it go. All right, and it hangs up on you. All right, and that's pretty much it. Let me just see something real quick. On AM, FM, let me lower the volume. So on AM, FM, when you go up, it goes through your presets. Same thing with Sirius XM. And if you hold it, it seeks usually. Yeah, there you go. If you hold it, it seeks. All right. Let's go back to music I can play before I get in trouble. But yeah, that's it. That's basically how you install a radio, basically. I had an issue with that word. I actually did not put up a video because I think the count of basicallys was probably 50 something during the video. So that's how you put in the radio. The dash kit it's not bad. If you're one of those people that starts punching walls when you're working on cars, do not try it. It's just not a lot of the stuff we sell is for complete amateurs to install. This is not something I recommend for someone who isn't super handy or even moderately handy. Moderately handy, you can probably pull it off. It's not that hard. You just gotta have patience. But if you have problems with everything, my videos tend to give people confidence, that's why I warn you about that. Okay. So we sell, we install, we ship worldwide. If you're a shop, we have wholesale accounts. Guys, this kit is beautiful. Number one. Number two, all our stuff plugs in. You don't have to splice any wires. Two different types of shops up there. Some shops want to solder everything. Well, actually, three. Some shops want to solder everything just because that's what they do, which is great. I mean, usually means they're a great shop. There's other shops that doing it the fast way makes you more money, which is great. And then there's other shops who just rather cut everything up because they can put an extra $20 in their pocket. Three different shops doesn't make anybody wrong. It's just, some people don't like my stuff, plug and play. Some people do. That's pretty much it, guys. Sorry it's late. As you can tell, it's 10:44 on a Saturday, and I still have to go home and dig up my suit and my black shirt. And I got to figure out how to dry clean at home because I got a wake to go to in the morning, which is why I'm here this late. Usually I wrap this up on a Sunday. That's pretty much it. Right? Yeah. If you like this video, do me a first of all, everything here is on sale on enfitcarstereo.com. If you like the video, do me a favor, give it a like. If you got to the end, give it a like. If you use this video to install somebody else's stuff, you have to like it, or else you get 7 years bad luck. I'm kidding. Just give it a like. You know, we appreciate it. The more likes we get, the more people YouTube shows it to. That means the more people get to see it, which is good for us. We make more money, and more people see it, the more we can help people also. If you really like this kind of stuff, you can subscribe to the channel. If you really like this kind of stuff, you can actually sign up for notifications. So every time we put up a video, you get a notification. Once again, this is Christian from enfitcarstereo.com. Thank you so much for watching. Hey guys, forgot to cover the backup camera. It's been a long day. So the backup camera, when you pop it in reverse, it automatically pops up. It blends into the handle, so you take out the handle that's there and you replace it with one that's a little shorter but has a camera built in. As you can tell, it's wide angle. It's probably 1.5 feet, dead center, probably 2 feet here and 1 foot here off the door. And you can see it's wide. You can see the toolbox all the way to the side, and the other side. When we pull in a car, we pull in this way a little bit. It's just the way the garage is set up. That way we can open both doors and get around. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, obviously you can set up the lines. And oh, one more thing. Remember I told you before, so now I'm going to turn off the car. So the car is completely off. You saw that little light over here turn off, or the little display, and the radio's still on. Now, once you pull out the key, the radio will shut off. Oops. There you go.